Hi, loves. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to hop on. My plan is to do a live video on Fridays, but tomorrow I'm going to be traveling, so I thought I'd hop on today and talk about this topic as to why you are not broken. So I know when I was in that place of struggling with my relationship with food and my body, and I was in that cycle of restricting, binging, over exercising, right? I thought that there was something so fundamentally wrong with me. I thought that I was broken. I really truly did because I kept trying to change the behavior and I kept failing. And I would see other people around me and I remembered what I used to be like, especially when I was anorexic and, restricting, I could just do because that is a different animal, right? But it didn't last. And I did end up starting to struggle with binge eating. And I thought that I was just so broken. And I know a lot of the women I work with feel this way too. And what I've come to understand is that so much of that has to do. Sorry, I'm closing my Facebook on my computer so I don't get any dings. So much of that has to do with a lack of awareness and understanding of what's going on under the surface, right? So when we are struggling with our relationship to food, we tend to focus on trying to change that behavior. And so we'll do things like trying new meal plans. Maybe we work with a nutritionist. Maybe we try out a different diet program. Maybe we try out an exercise program. Hey, Raina. Maybe we, try to find things to distract ourselves. Maybe we try to get rid of the foods and control our environment, right? And all of that is focused on the external. And inevitably, we end up sabotaging ourselves again. And so this is contributes to that feeling of God, there's something so wrong with me. I'm so broken. And we get so frustrated, right? And it's just this vicious cycle over and over again. I know I was there for a good decade of my life. And here's the problem with that. And I don't want you to beat yourself up for focusing on the external, right? Because we live in a culture and a society that teaches us that, right? I remember Googling for ways to stop binge eating, and it was all these things, all these external things, right? And none of it ever helped. Like calling a friend, no. Journaling what my emotions were, I didn't even know, right? I was so disconnected. None of that helped. And so much of why we feel broken is because we're rejecting parts of ourselves. And this is very subconscious too, until we start to reconnect to our bodies and start to go inwards and start to understand what's actually going on under the surface. So I like to liken this. There's this analogy that it's like, if you think of yourself like a 1,000-piece puzzle, and say there's this one piece that you feel is very unlovable. It's the part of you that feels maybe unworthy, right? That part of you that just never feels good enough, that avoids certain situations because you fear rejection. Whatever. Sorry, pets are. Hey, Jewel. Behave, please. She's chasing the cat. I thought there was going to be a fight. So maybe it's the part of you, right, that feels unworthy. This one part of you. And you're rejecting that piece. Well, if you have a 1,000-piece puzzle and you're not including one piece, it's not going to be whole, right? We need to accept and include, and then the puzzle's whole and complete. And that's the same with us. We feel broken when we're rejecting parts of ourselves. And so much of this work is understanding those parts of ourselves. And when we start to understand that they are just trying to keep us safe, just trying to have needs met, right? We start to have compassion for those parts of ourselves. And in that understanding and that compassion, we can accept and even learn to love those parts of ourselves. And in the process, we start to understand and access our wholeness and that we are whole already. And So often that one piece we're so identified with as well, right? But we have 999 other pieces, other parts to us, right? And we aren't just that piece. We are all 1,000 pieces, right? There's so many parts to us. And that is what the journey inwards is all about. That it's about meeting all of these parts, understanding all of these parts, right? Moving through all these layers so we can get to the core. And it's not just one thing, right, that contributes to us using food as a coping mechanism. Right, Raina, as you know, because you've done this work, there's so many layers, and the work doesn't end. We always get to go deeper with it, and it's just this journey and this process. And we live in a society that just wants a quick fix, and that's not how it works. That's not how it works, right? Healing is lifelong. It's lifelong, and so often so it's not linear either, right? Like it's these ups and downs. And so often when we're in a dip, we think we've reverted back and we think we're failing, but really we're just going deeper. We're going deeper. And that's what we get to do with all of this, is we get to go deeper. And yes, it does get easier. It does. Sometimes, though, there might be these deeper triggers, right, that hit us out of nowhere, and we disassociate so fast we don't even know it happened until like a week later. Yes, that will happen, but then we also have tools and awareness to bring ourselves back into our body when we recognize it's happening, and to move forward and learn from that place. Other times, we have that awareness, and our body just intuitively guides us through as we do this work, and we know what to do to move through something that would have taken us out in the past, right? It's such a journey and it's such a process, and it's not about perfection, right? It's not about getting there, because that will distract us as well from, being grateful for where we are in the moment. That will distract us from being present with what is, if we're so focused on a destination, and that can happen as well. So I just wanted to hop on and share. And I hope that if you are feeling broken, that this gives you some understanding as to why you're not. You are so not broken. You are so whole. And it's just about reclaiming these parts of yourself, unearthing them first, because like I said, so often they are so subconscious. I still unearth parts of myself that I'm like, oh shit, I've been rejecting that. Let's include that. Let's learn to love that. Let's understand it, right? And as we do that, we start to really come into our own and really know our worth. And when we do that deep inner work, the behaviors just take care of themselves, right? Because we learn to be with what is, and we don't need to numb. And we learn to shift beliefs and associations and meet needs on a deeper level. And that shit is powerful. It's so powerful. So I'd love to hear, if you felt broken on this path, and if this helps you understand why you're not. And, currently I'm taking one-on-one clients. So if you want to start that journey of going within and doing this deeper work, I would so love to hop on a discovery call with you. I'm going to share the link below for my one-on-one coaching. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Bye.